So tonight I'm trying a new drink. This is called Makgeolli, but this is 1,000. Okay, it's called Makgeolli 1,000, but it's 1 billion prebiotics in this alcoholic drink.
You're going to be crapping all night.
There's a podcast called Between Two Slabs. They consume mass media. It seems so sad. It's the great Curator and Merlin. They can't grow pubes, so they gotta wear a merkin. They got no money, so I guess they gotta share. Just two nerds wishing they could grow body hair. Comics, cards, and toys, nothing that would interest you. It's the podcast that nobody listens to.
Oh, yeah, dead rise and shine. It is almost Halloween time. I've got my Halloween shirt on, some blood and guts. Dan got Halloween next week. It's next Tuesday, so we're probably not going to be able to. You're probably going to be with your daughter trick-or-treating, and so everybody else. So let's probably move it to Wednesday. How about that?
Yeah, next week we will do the show on Wednesday, so that we can do some family time on Tuesday for Halloween. But tonight we are back for another episode of Between Two Slabs, the best podcast in the hobby that nobody listens to. For my drink tonight, I'm going to tell you I'm drinking the 1 billion prebiotics Makgeolli here. We're trying this out.
Makgeolli? What is Makgeolli?
It's that stuff that we drank last time, that banana drink.
Oh, like the soju, sparkly soju kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going to be like farting and having to go to the bathroom during this time instead of throwing up.
I got to mix this actually. This is good prebiotics, you know? It's like good bacteria for the gut type of stuff. Helps for digestion. So anyways,
I did not know they made it that way. Where'd you pick that up at, may I ask?
Korean market.
Okay.
I'm still a little bit sick, but you know what they say always kills germs is alcohol. So we're gonna be trying that tonight. We're gonna be trying that tonight. So have you there. We'll be playing the Mr. Minty drinking game. Every time we say Mr. Minty, you can have yourself a drink.
Mr. Minty.
We got an exciting show for you guys tonight. Let me take my drink here. We got some big news. Big wrestling news to talk about.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about it, baby.
We have the topic of discussion, sure to be controversial. Something I've been thinking about the last week is, does the hobby have room for kids? Is the hobby still intended for kids, or is there any place for kids in the hobby? We'll be talking about that tonight. You might show off the mail day stuff, and then we'll get to the comments. As always, we'll get to the comments towards the end of the show, guys. But if you have any pressing comments, send us a super chat sticker. We'll highlight it right away and we'll get to it. If not, we'll get to it towards the end. But before we get into all that, let's pay the bills, Merlin. Tell them about their sponsor, Mr. Minty.
Mr. Minty. Drink up, everyone. Drink Mario. Anyway, Mr. Minty prepping supply kit. The link is in the below. Use the password promo code Curator, and I think you're going to get 20 or 25% off. I don't know if he's updated it, so I just put whatever. I don't, hold me responsible for it being whatever it is, but I know you're going to get a discount if you use promo code Curator. You get this beautiful kit here, trusted card care, Mr. Minty. Prepping supplies, premium trading card supplies inside. And if you go to his Instagram or his website, you'll see what products are inside this bag and how to use these products. It's very simple. I have actually improved one of my cards from a PSA 8 to a PSA 10. No shit. Seriously, I swear to God I did. That really happened. I was not expecting it. Thank you, Mr. Minty. So he is our sponsor. It's got cleaning spray. It's got a magnifier. It's got a centering tool. It's got polish. It's got the tool, everything you can think of. The microfiber puppy thing, everything. It's got a constant. And these things sell out. Every time Mr. Minty has been next to us at a show, all his kits have sold out, and he never gets any sleep because he has to make new kits every single weekend. He's busy. So try it out. I know he's been selling out on our show, so let's have him sell out some more. So go to the link below in our description. It's in Dan and I's profile, so go to it. and it's also on our links and Instagram. Okay, Dan, now it's your turn.
Okay, so I think you pretty much said everything you need to say about that, guys.
Thank you.
You heard it. You heard it here. Merlin guarantees that if you have a PSA 8, you use this kit. Merlin personally guarantees that you will bump the grade up to a PSA 10.
Let's hope, man.
That's what he said.
And I had a black. It was a black Star Wars refractor card. It looked like crap, man. And I just like went to town on it, hoping to get like a 9 or something off of it. I didn't even think I'd get a 9. I was like, maybe I'll just get another 8 again, but it came back at 10.
Well, okay. Well, now you guys see the importance of prepping your cards. It helps. Okay, it helps. You know, if you're gonna spend the money to grade your cards, and the least you could do is prep it properly, give it a good rub down, put some polish on it.
Yeah, I did the hell out of some polish on there, man.
Everything you need. So check out Mr. Minty products. Use the code Curator down below. I think it's still at 25%. I'm not gonna tell him
20 or 25, but just try it out. See if you're lucky.
Then I'm not gonna you know, if Mr. Minty doesn't ask about the coupon code, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna keep it at 25% for as long as it is. So take advantage of that, guys. Hell, you should. I'm not necessarily advocating for this, but I would say it might be worth it to buy it 25% off and then sell it, you know, for 10% off. Okay, in your local area.
Oh man,
there could be a resale market. There could be a resale market for Mr. Minty products. There's some arbitrage opportunity there for sure. Buy it 25% off, sell it for 10% off, make 15%, quick flip, guys. I'm not advocating for that, but you know, it is an option. Okay, so with that, let's get straight into it. Since we were a few minutes late, let's get straight into the hobby news. Not too much crazy stuff is going on, but big news today, broken by a sports card investor, I believe. Leaf Trading Cards has signed The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to, I guess, an exclusive contract where he is now signing for Leaf cards, which
he's finally signing because you cannot find any autograph cards.
Well, okay,
let me 1998 and
let me make a correction.
The Mummy.
Yes, they say since 1998 his comic images, and I guess that's true for wrestling, but people might not know this. He does have some like movie cards out there, the Mummy and Doom, I believe.
Doom, yeah.
He made those cards.
I rarely ever seen that one.
And he signed those cards as Dwayne Johnson. So the 1998 comic images, I have one of those. He signed that as The Rock. He signed that card as The Rock. In fact, let me just grab it. Since we're talking about this, let me just grab it. I have it right here in my case. Give me a second here.
It's one of my favorites. I had to get one, Dan, too, because Dan had one, and I had to get one because he had one.
Yeah, I actually got 2 of these. Okay.
Oh, let's damn. Oh,
okay, so here, this is the 1998 comic images card. You can see right here, he signed it as Rock.
There you go. That's good, right there.
Yeah, right there. So he signed it there. Yeah. But I guess he'll be signing the new ones as Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. As Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting, okay? This is an interesting play by Leaf because, okay, so the knock on Leaf has always been that they are unlicensed. That's what they say.
And cheap. But, I don't know.
So they say that, well, I don't know, do people call them cheap?
I don't know. Are they?
Like, you mean the price of the product is relatively inexpensive compared to other products, I guess. I don't know if I would call them cheap. I think they got good quality cards, just like everybody else.
Yeah, me too. They do grade well.
But you know, people always say that they're unlicensed, okay? And
I guess that's the
which means they don't have the logos of the teams of the athletes that they're making the cards of. But recently, when they came out with the Pop Century stuff, those are like celebrity autographs, and celebrities don't have logos, you know, so
they don't need logos.
So you know, I think that the mindset or the hobby kind of started accepting Pop Century cards or cards that don't have a licensed logo. I think they started accepting those as something cool to collect, an alternative, you know, to collect, especially in the pop culture scene. And then they started making wrestling cards. And wrestling cards, you know, they're under WWE, but wrestlers don't wear WWE logos. They don't have
No.
uniforms that have the WWE logo on it. They're their own brand. So, like, if you have Hulk Hogan, for example, you know, he doesn't need a logo, right? If you have Ric Flair or the other wrestlers that they've had, I forget who else that they had.
And they don't
On there.
copyright their costume.
Oh, you know, I don't think so. So they've had that. So you know, it hasn't been as popular as the officially licensed one from like Prism or Topps or something like that, but they're still really cool. So this is, and then recently I've noticed that they've been trying to change the narrative where they say they're not like unlicensed cards. What they are player licensed cards. So they have contracts with the individual player, just not with the league. So they don't use the league logo or anything, but they can use the player's image, the NIL, basically NIL deals. So they're trying to change the narrative there, and they're at a very interesting turning point right now where Panini is about to lose their licenses, and they're going to be making unlicensed cards, which they already do.
Cards, right?
Yeah, which they already do. They make unlicensed baseball cards. People, you know,
and are those popular?
There's a place for it. I know, like Shohei Ohtani, one of ones go for a little bit of money. The Kabooms, the downtowns of those players, they go for a little bit of money.
Now, are they like more in demand than say like the Leaf baseball cards?
I would say so, because the Panini's brand.
Gotcha.
So they're at a turning point where their enemy Panini, which had all the licenses before, could become their ally, because then there'll be the two brands that don't have the license that will be pushing the player license cards or the unlicensed cards, or the industry term that we discovered, the pajama cards. They'll be pushing that, right? So they're at an interesting turning point. So I think that their announcement that they got of having The Rock be one of their premier cards now is very interesting, because it falls into that gray area. You've got arguably the most popular wrestler of all time, one of the rarest autographs to get, because he hasn't signed with anybody else for 20 years. He doesn't really sign very much at all.
Nope.
You have an area of wrestling where it doesn't require a logo per se, just images. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this interesting niche product that they're rolling out, and it'll be interesting to see what the demand is for this. I'm sure the demand was going to be very high, but it'll be interesting to see where the prices fall on these cards.
And they're probably going to be sticker autos, aren't they? What
do
you think?
The one that they showed off is a sticker, which I got a big problem with. To be honest, I got a problem with that.
You do?
You know, like, sticker autos are entry level. To me, they're entry level. They're not great, and they don't warrant, you know, a celebrity like The Rock. You know, you might get a sticker auto of some lower tier mid card guy, but for The Rock, you should protect the rarity of his signature. Like, he hasn't signed for so long that I don't want to see 20,000 Rock autographs hit the market. Stickers. Okay. I don't want to.
You're going to.
I don't want to see it. You know, I feel like they should protect the rarity of his signature and put it as a premier high-end product in on-card autos in their top whatever. What's their top product? Decadence, right? Leaf Decadence.
Yeah, make those. Because those are kind of like Transcendence. They have the metal borders.
I would rather them do that than have them flood the market with, you know, sticker autos. They're probably going to do both. You know, I'm sure they'll have like, I don't know.
They definitely need on-card autos and make like an event of it. Like film him signing these cards. I'm
sure they'll have like 100 on-card autos, and then they'll have like 10,000 sticker autos out there. But, you know, I feel like if they really want to compete with Fanatics, they got to get off of the stickers. The stickers is something that existed for a period of time in the hobby where it was a necessity but I feel like they need to just kind of get away with that because the hobby just doesn't like it, for sure. And I think for a product like what Leaf is trying to do, I don't want to see cheap. I don't want to see cheap rock autos. I don't want to see a $200 rock auto. I don't. You know what I mean? And that's what it will be. If it's a Pop Century card, it's probably going to be like a $200 to $1,000 card, maybe, depending on if it's numbered or not. If it's not numbered, it's not going to, it's not going to be worth that much, unless it's on card. But very big signing. Crazy that they got the Rock to sign.
I know, right? That's a big contract.
And you know what? I'll predict this too. I predict that if they have success with the Rock autos, whatever that comes out in,
yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Rubin makes a call and poaches the Rock, because we know that Fanatics is not afraid to put pressure and leverage their influence to terminate agreements in the hobby. And I just saw they had we're going to segue. This is a perfect segue, actually, but I'm not done talking about this. But later on, we're going to be talking about the Topps event where Tom Brady and Kevin Hart were at a trade night.
Right.
Kevin Hart is like best friends with The Rock. It would not be, it would be very easy for them to get access for Michael Rubin to get access to The Rock and say, hey, let's do this for real. Let's get you with the big boys. Come to Topps, sign the agreement with Topps. We have wrestling. They have the wrestling product, right? Next year, I think, or whatever, they're gonna be making wrestling cards. So it only makes sense for them to also have the Rock auto in there. So I predict that Leaf is going to have their 1 year releasing this product, and they're probably going to squeeze out as much as they can. That's probably why they have the stickers. And then after that, the Rock is going to go towards Topps. Once they see the demand for the Rock autos and the Rock sees how much money he can make by just signing these things, he's going to go over to Topps. But regardless, big news. I tip my hat to Leaf for actually going out and getting the Rock when all these other companies, Upper Deck, Panini, Topps, could not do it over these past couple of years. So it's actually pretty cool to see that.
Now I have a question, Dan. What will that do to our Rock autos from those 98 Comic Images cards? Will they appreciate or depreciate?
Oh, it's going to appreciate for sure.
Why is that?
Because number one, especially if these are all stickers, then people want the on card.
Gotcha.
Right? So people are going to want the rarest. People always want the rarest, oldest versions,
the oldest,
earliest versions of something. They always want it. So they always go back. So the new stuff gets people's attention because new product is easy to make. You can't remake old stuff. Whatever is already out there is already the limited supply. So when you remake these things, it's easy, right? If you want things to be relevant, you can remake it. And that's what brings people in. And then that becomes like an entry point for people to enter the hobby for Rock autos, for example. And then once they start collecting these Rock autos, the next level up, once you hit all the Rock autos that you can get, the next level up is going back to his previous autos, which
people are like, what else is out there?
What else is out there? And unless you're a Doom fan, which most people are not, or you're a Scorpion King fan, which most people are not.
I've only seen like a couple of those cards.
You're going to want his wrestling autos. So you go back to the 1998 Comic Images card, and
that's actually a pack-pulled card.
Pack-pulled auto, and unless he actually signs an inscription, The Rock, this will be the only on-card pack-pull auto where he signed it as The Rock. That's it. So this one, I do think that these will always be in demand. I don't know the pop count on this. I wonder how many they actually made.
Right? Me either.
They can't. I can't imagine that they made thousands of these. I think it's probably limited. I think it's probably, I don't know, under
500?
Yeah, it's got to be probably less than that. I was going to say like less than like 250.
Oh wow.
that are out there. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
Was there any reason why he never signed when he was with the WWE brand or WWF brand after that 98 Comic Images?
I don't
Like he
know.
never with Fleer or Tops or anybody?
I don't know. I just think it wasn't a priority for him. I think he
Right.
wanted to protect himself. Like he didn't need.
Well,
he
I just
obviously
felt like
didn't-
maybe like the WWF or WWE, that's almost like when you're within NBA or the NFL, that's kind of per your job.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't need the money, and he's probably really busy. That people couldn't get his autos or anything like that. So,
Mhm.
but whatever it is, he's definitely been very elusive the past 20 years or so. So it's exciting to see him back in the game with those autos, and I'm excited to see what they do. I hope that I hope they put their best designers forward, and I hope they make some really cool, awesome looking rock cards. And I think that would definitely reignite the interest in the wrestling hobby.
Hmm.
Okay, so
how's that taste?
it's good. It's good. Yummy. I can feel it. I can feel the prebiotics.
Is it a flavor?
It's not really a flavor. It is a little sweet, but it's not like a banana flavor like we had.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
That was yummy. That
it's
was
good. No,
tasty.
you would like this one. You would like this one.
Good.
Okay, let me get another sip here.
Okay, you get another sippy.
Okay, so let's get into the big topic of discussion tonight, which is how did we phrase this? Does the hobby have room for kids? Oh, wait, what is it? What did you say? Hold on, let me see. I need to pull this up.
You've have me fooled.
Is there
room for kids in the hobby?
Is there still room for kids in the hobby? Okay. So let me tell you what prompted this discussion topic for me on this. Okay. So I was watching, I saw the content that Tops and Fanatics put out of the trade night that they sponsored, where they had Tom Brady, Jason Tatum. I think they had some other guy, Travis Scott or something like that. And Kevin Hart.
The rapper?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they were all at the same event, but I know Tom Brady and Kevin Hart were at this card shop doing a trade night for kids.
Okay.
And it looked awesome. If you watch it, it looked awesome. Like Tom Brady is trading his rookie card to this
his
kid
own rookie Tom Brady card
for a jersey. And they were just like passing out cards. It looked like a great time. And I think to myself, man, those kids are so lucky that they got to experience that. That was so fun, right? I know that if I was a kid, if I was that age, back in the 90s, I would have loved to go to an event where I could have met, like back in the 90s, I was a big basketball fan. So I would have died if I could have went to a LCS event and met like Frank Thomas or Mike Piazza or Shaq or Kobe, you know, Ken Griffey Jr., and then did a trade night with them and then get something. I would have died if that would have happened to me, you know? So it was so cool to see the kids having that experience, right? And if you watch this content, it's exactly what you would want it to be. You got these mega star athletes and celebrities having a great time, giving out cards to kids, doing trades, just really, really cool, wholesome stuff, right? In front of the camera. But I'm willing to bet, okay, on the back of that camera were a bunch of adults that were either there, they brought their kids there so that they could participate in the event and live vicariously through their kids, or probably a bunch of adults showed up hoping that they could take pictures, get autographs, or participate or get freebies or something like that, right? in that event. I know that for a fact, right? Because the hobby is overwhelmingly dominated by adults. Even though we call it a hobby, and even though we want kids to participate, and really in an event like that is what the hobby is supposed to be about. That's how kids are supposed to participate in the hobby, doing trade nights, meeting athletes, making memories, wholesome stuff like that. That's how it's supposed to be. but we know from experience that most of the time it's dominated by adults. Even an event like that, if you had an event like that at the National, adults would be lined up out the door trying to get their piece of the action, because that's just how we are, right? And I think to myself, like, the problem with the hobby is we want to present it. Our forward-facing idea of the hobby is presenting it for kids. Kids are the future. Right. Kids should be opening packs. Kids should be allowed to buy, sell, trade, all this stuff. That is one side of the hobby of how it's being presented. Just like with that content that Fanatics and Topps is showing on their website, right?
Right.
But the other side of the hobby, which is also being presented by Topps and Fanatics, is the 24/7 breaking, the pulling a rare one-of-one card, selling it at auction, making a fortune, the card shows, buying, selling, trading, pulling out cash. The transactional side of the hobby, which is dominated by adults, and kids participate in that too, but it's mainly geared towards adult, the gambling aspect of it. That is also overwhelmingly presented, to the public when we think about the hobby. So we're seeing two sides of the hobby, right? And for me, I feel like there's a disconnect there, because on one side you're showing kids trading cards, having a great time, it's wholesome. On the other side, you're showing adults buying, selling, flipping, transacting, making money. Huge gambling aspect to it, huge monetary transactional appeal being presented to you, and it's just a disconnect. It's like, which is it? Is the hobby for kids and they're trading cards, or is a hobby for adults to make money? You know what I mean? And I think that I wonder, and it's, obviously we are part of that too. Me and you, we go to shows, we buy, sell, and trade. Right? We do this all the time. So obviously we are part of that, but it makes me wonder, like, where is the identity of the hobby right now? Is it for kids or is it for adults? Is it for both sides? Because if it's for both sides, I would say that there's not enough events like what they had with Tom Brady and Kevin Hart. That might be like the only time they've ever done something like that. Right? Like 95% of the time in the hobby, it's all about adult focused events. You rarely see kids trade nights. Like I know like a Burbank card shop has a kids trade night every couple months, but it's not regular. I know Mama Breaks always is trying to do kids events at card shows, but they're like small, Okay. They're not the main focus. So like having kids participate in a hobby in that type of environment, that is not a main focus in my opinion. Most of the time I see kids in the hobby, they're doing what the adults are doing. They're buying, selling, trading. They've got money. They're doing all sorts of, things that they see on TV from content creators and stuff like that. They're trying to participate on that in the hobby on that level. And for me as a parent, for me, I personally don't like to see kids participate in the hobby on that level. Unless you're a teenager, that's different. I think as a teenager, it's good for them to learn about money and learn business skills and how to negotiate and how to sell things. But if you're not a teenager, if you're younger than that, I feel like there should be a certain amount of innocence that is practiced with children where, we're not teaching them to be hustlers. We want kids to have fun. We want kids to open packs and play and trade cards of their favorite athletes and collect sets and collect teams and all that stuff. Because I did that as a kid. When I was a kid, it was not about the money at all for me. I collected my favorite team, which is in basketball, it was the Lakers. So I collected all the Laker cards. I collected my favorite players, all the Angel cards, all the Dodger cards. I collected my favorite players at that time. And that was my thing, And I don't think that the hobby is really about that right now. I don't think they're focused on that at all. I think when they hold a one-off event like with Tom Brady, it's just a one-off event. You know what I mean? It's like not what their focus is. You know what I mean? It's more like PR than anything.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
So, and I think to myself, okay, so why is that? Why is it like that? And I think that it's like that because of the transactional nature of the hobby, where everything is about money. Every card that we buy, right? Every card that we buy is all about either buying it, grading it, and flipping it for a profit, buying it to hold as an investment, buying it to turn around and flip it, buying it below market value and turn around and flip it. You know, everything is very transactional in how we view the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay for certain things, right? That's okay for certain type of cards. But in the hobby, in the last few years during the pandemic boom, it has applied to basically every single card. Every single card is a way for basically people to make money. Okay. And that's just the way that we think about the hobby right now. And that's the way that kids are coming into the hobby are thinking about it. I don't know if
the base cards are pennies. They're just kind of thrown to the side.
Base cards are pennies, but
yes,
people are also grading base cards. People are also flipping base cards. I just saw,
but nothing like it was during the pandemic.
But it's still like
where
that.
You could totally flip a PSA base card for hundreds of dollars.
See, that's
You're
the
not
problem.
Gonna get hundreds of dollars anymore for it.
That's the problem. Like people are doing that. I just saw a statistic off of Sports Card Investor.
Okay.
Where they said the most graded cards in the population account, PSA population count, the top 3 guys, Zion, Base Prism, 42,000 cards. Ja Morant, 40,000 cards graded across the population. Luka, 36,000.
Year before.
Right? So it's all like
2018, 19. They're all like super modern players.
People are, and these are like the low end tier cards, the entry level cards, mid tier cards that people are grading like crazy because they're trying to flip and make money. So, anyways, that is the mindset of the hobby right now, right? And I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to present the hobby as, hey, this is family friendly, kids are welcome, right? Okay. That's what they're trying to promote when they host an event like that. But in reality, it's not like that. In reality, it's not necessarily kid friendly because of the barrier of entry to come into the hobby, because everything's very expensive. You know, I look at the hobby right now and I think to myself, if I was a kid, there would be no way that I could participate in the hobby on any level right now because of the price of cards. You know, the only thing I could afford, maybe if my parents were generous, is if I went into like Target and I bought a blaster box for like $30. But even $30 is a lot to spend on a kid, in my opinion.
It is, right?
You know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to buy packs of cards for under $5, like $1 to like $5. That was the price point. That was the barrier of entry back then. Now you can't do that. You can't really do that in the hobby today. Really, the only way that you can, I mean, if you're going to get in the hobby, you need to expect to spend like $100 on a box if you're a kid and you want to rip product. And I think that's why they have breaking. Breaking is so popular because people can get in at different price points, but you don't want your kids to break. I don't think kids should be breaking at all, to be honest.
And to me, that's gambling.
Yeah. So so where do the kids fit in on this, right? And I think to myself, why is this? Why do we have this problem? Like I know the problem is that everything is hold on, my camera went out. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, Dan.
Okay, hold on. I got to fix my camera.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I liked the Dodgers a lot, and I collected all the Dodgers players because that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't even about the value of the card. It was just me trying to get the entire team, and I would, put a rubber band around them. Dan's imaging edge webcam now, folks. I like that reverse side. Dan, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I'm just changing my battery. Give me a second. Let me catch.
And then I had another buddy, my best friend. He was a Yankees fan, so he had all the Yankees players. And I remember his favorite player was like Thurman Munson. And then all those players, and we'd go, oh, look at my players. So I have Dodgers and you have Yankees, and we lived in Tennessee.
Okay.
And someone else, Dan, I think he's getting it. WWW Dan. Imaging Edge, folks. What's up, everybody? There he is.
Okay. So getting back to what I was saying.
Yes.
So we know what they want. We know that they want the kids to be part of the hobby. But the reality is the barrier of entry for kids to actually participate in the hobby on a meaningful level.
Yes.
I'm not talking about like just getting a bunch of free cards, for people that don't want them. I'm talking about being able to get packs, buy packs, rip them, get the cards that they want and trade them and all that stuff. For them to be able to participate on a meaningful level is too difficult right now because the cost is not there. The cost is too high for them to get into. Okay.
Gotcha.
And the reason that the cost is high is because of us adults. When a product comes out, there's a retail price and it almost always instantly sells out, and it goes to the secondary market and there's a markup on it. And that's what it is. Right. And it's either people can't get product or they have to pay the markup price on it. And that's a problem, I think. Right. And I think I don't know if there's a solution to this, but I think that one of the problems is that in the hobby, we think everything has value. Everything has some type of transactional value where we can make money off of it. So we buy everything. We buy the entry-level product to the mid-tier product to the high-end product. And I'll break it down to you what I think an entry-level product is, okay? Like paper cards that are not chromed out. So like Topps Update, for example.
Regular Topps, Donruss.
Optic, Donruss, all that stuff. Anything that's not chromed out is like an entry-level product, paper product. That stuff still sells out, and still goes for a lot of money. Then you have your mid-tier products, which are like Prism cards. Anything that's chromed out. Prism, chrome,
out stuff. Gotcha.
Metal products like that. That's more expensive. Those are mid-tier. And then you have your high-end products, which are like those thick cards, like Impeccable, Flawless, National Treasure, Immaculate,
Transcendent,
things like that, right? Where they cost. So that's your high-end stuff. So that's how I break it out in my head. And it makes sense for like high-end products to be valuable, to sell out, to have a secondary market premium, and to be something you would grade and flip. Even mid-tier products, chrome cards, popular athletes or characters, low numbered variations, it makes sense to do that. But for like paper cards, it doesn't make sense to grade paper cards. It doesn't make sense to chase number, things like that. So I think that's the problem, is that we overvalue everything, where everything we buy out sells out, everything we grade, everything we try to flip and make money off of. Right. And I think that the hobby needs to kind of change our mindset on how we look at these things. And I'll give you a example, something that I think that I've been thinking about for a while, that I think is a good model for the hobby that we need to come. Okay. So I'm gonna use the analogy of the toy collectible space, because I'm a toy collector too.
You are.
Whenever I go to Target, I always go to the toy aisle to look for cool collectibles, right? Toys. And there's basically 3 different toy aisles that you can go down to at Target. Every Target has it. There is the collectible aisle, where you have high-end collectible toys. This is like NECA. They make toys like that. NECA is a brand, Super 7, things like that, where they make high-end collectible toys where you can expect to spend anywhere between $30 to $50 or more dollars, $50 or more on a toy. And then there's like exclusive chase versions that you can try to find, things like that. Right. Then there is the mid-tier level, which is where you have mainly the main collectible toys, like toys that are in the price range of anywhere between like $15 to like $30, right? You get like the Mattel Elite toys, you get the G.I. Joe classified toys, you get the Ninja Turtle toys, things like that, right? That's mid-tier. Okay. So for high-end toys, those are made for collectors to either keep in the box or display on their bookshelf and pose. They're not meant for playing. In fact, if you try to play with toys like that, the toys they fall apart because they're not meant to be played with. They're fragile. The mid-tier stuff, that's meant for casual collectors who don't want to spend a lot of money. They're also really not meant to be played with, because they kind of, the accessories fall off and things like that. You can pose them, you can play a little bit, but they're really not meant for that. They're just you put them on your bookshelf or you keep them in a package. And then the third aisle is for kids. They're like little kids' toys. And these toys are meant for kids to smash around. Rip open the box, smash it around, and then throw it away eventually,
like
right?
the Fisher Price stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that. But they make, for example, like Ninja Turtles. They'll make Fisher Price Ninja
Versions.
Turtle toys.
Right.
They'll make that are like $15 and below, like usually between $5 to $15. Then they make mid-level products that are like $15 to $25. Here's an example of a mid-level Ninja Turtle product. Okay.
Right.
So you could buy this for like $15, 12, like $13, $15 tax. Rip it open. You can play with it. You can display it, or you can keep it like this. It's for somebody, a casual collector who likes Ninja Turtles like me. Right. I don't want to spend $300 on this.
That's not safe for like a 2-year-old because of the accessories. They probably eat it.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. You could even a little kid could play with this, but it's not really meant for that, I would say. No. Okay, it's meant for an adult collector like myself who's nostalgic for this brand, and I buy it. And then let me see if I can pull out something.
But more than likely, a toy like that is going to be opened out of the box, correct?
Yeah, you could. Right? It's only like $15, so you could open it and it wouldn't be a big thing. And then you have the NECA versions. So this is like usually like a $60, $50 to $60 for a toy like this. You can open this, but you're not going to play with it, because all the stuff falls apart if you start playing with it. Okay, but you can keep it in the box, or you can display it, do figure photography, anything like that, right? So the entry level stuff is mass produced, right? You could buy that anytime you want. There is no secondary value for it. People, like, if you go on eBay or online, you probably buy it cheaper than the store, but it's not going to be at a premium.
Right.
The other products like this, they usually don't have a premium until they discontinue them, and then there is a little bit of premium on top of that. And then the high-end collectible stuff, there's always usually a premium on this if it's rare, because they're usually limited and they're rare, so there's usually a premium on this. Okay,
gotcha.
So here's the interesting part of this as toy collectors. There are flippers in the toy collector community. There are flippers, there are scalpers, there's guys that go in there and they buy up all the rare toys, they buy the chase toys, the chase products and things like that, right? So that's no different than the hobby. But they're not buying the entry level toys. They're not buying Fisher Price toys and trying to flip that. They're not buying out that stock. They leave that for the kids because they know that there's no real secondary market value there. So they just leave it there and the kids play with that stuff. And then the mid-tier products, they might buy the ones that are rare, but the ones that are not rare, they're not going to buy. And they'll leave it there for collectors to buy. Okay. Or you could probably readily get this, and the premium on the secondary market is not going to be that high. Right. Whereas the ultra rare stuff, they will buy this and they will turn around and flip it. Sometimes they grade it and all that stuff. There's always a premium value. But you see what I'm saying is, like, there's an understanding that the entry level stuff is for kids.
Gotcha.
The mid-level stuff, you can be selective about what you're buying and then reselling. And then the higher end stuff, it's understandable that is the most desirable, the most limited, and that's the ones that people always try to get, and there's a premium value on top of that, right? That is the proof of concept that the hobby needs to look at in terms of how they structure their tiers of products. So the paper products in the hobby right now, paper cards like Topps Update, for example, for baseball, it's entry-level product. It should be readily available. There should be no premium on top of that, right? That should be the product that any kid can buy at any time. Any parent can buy that for their kids, and it's affordable. It should be like no more than $20 for a blaster box. There shouldn't even be a hobby box of that. There should be no autographs in those things. There should be no one-of-one superfractors that people are chasing. It should just be a fun product that people can buy, that kids can buy, and adults don't need to try to flip it and make money off of it. And then the kids can buy those cards and they can handle them. They can trade them. They can put it in a binder. They can stick it on the wall. They can put it in their bike spokes. They can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Just destroy the cards, whatever, collect the cards, but it's for the kids, you know? And then the mid-tier products, like the chrome products, should be for casual collectors that want to chase maybe more rare cards. You could have sticker autos in that level of a product. You could have rare one-of-ones that people could chase, but it should be accessible. If there is a secondary market premium added to it, it shouldn't break the bank. You know, they should make enough for everybody, okay, that wants it. And then the high-end stuff, the ultra high-end stuff, the flawless cases, things like that, fine. You want to make that super limited so that they sell out, and then there's a huge premium on that. And the only way that you can get into that is through breaking or whatever. And then those cards get graded, and then they sell for fortunes after that. You can have that at level, and you can price it accordingly. You know what I mean? That's the way that I think the hobby should do it. And the only way that they can do this is the manufacturers have to have that model in mind when they're printing these products. The manufacturers, they can control the narrative of the hobby with how they produce these products. If they produce paper products with no autos, no one-of-ones, no super crazy valuable cards in there, then people will leave those for the kids. You know what I mean? But the problem is that they're producing every product as if it's the same type of model. Every product has the same color parallels, the same amount of odds for autos, the same players, you know, across the board. Everything is the same across every tier of product. It's just like a different type of product, you know, paper, chrome, high-end premium, but it's the same concept across the board. So I think that they need to kind of change it that way. And then if they can try to copy that model that the toy companies are doing, then they can have events where they have like all kids event and have celebrities come out and promote the hobby in a wholesome manner like that. They can definitely do that with those type of products. And then they can turn around and they can produce high-end events where breakers are pulling one-of-one logo man cards or whatever, and still do that. And it makes sense because then it's aligned. You know what I mean? It's aligned. A kid knows that if they want to get into those high-end breaks, they get into the entry-level point, they build up, they become a teenager, an adult, they have a little bit of money, they can spend more money, and they can get into that stuff. You know? You know, so they can work their way up in the hobby that way, versus right now where everybody's just thinking, oh, how can I get the most expensive card? How can I make the most money? I have to try to flip and do all these things, and I'm trying to do it within whatever category I can afford. You know what I mean? So that's my thought process on all that. I know that was like kind of like a long rant. You know, I don't know if you have anything to add to it, but I think that's when I see social media content like with that Tom Brady, Kevin Hart thing, I just think to myself, that's not really representative of how the hobby is right now. But it could be if they make the right moves, and if adults like you and me stop trying to basically dominate every aspect of the hobby that is usually meant for kids. If we just leave some of it for kids, then I think that we can slowly incorporate all these new kids into the hobby, at that entry level point. And I think that would be good for the hobby too. I think that's how you 10x the hobby, by bringing in kids that will eventually grow up, become more engaged in the hobby. Then they grow up even more. They start making money and all this stuff. And then you have like a farm system of new blood coming into the hobby. Whereas right now, I just think that for most people, it's just too expensive for kids to really be in the hobby. You know what I mean?
But very expensive.
Yeah.
I remember when Upper Deck came out, what, $89.90, and I thought it was expensive when that was like $2 or $3 a pack at the time, and everybody thought that was like a premium expensive.
Really?
Yes. And then things got a little higher. Like Stadium Club came out next, and it was like $5 a pack. I was like, whoa, that's so expensive. That's like early 90s.
Well, you know what's interesting is I see these old videos of interviews of kids in the early 90s, late 80s, and the mindset of the hobby has not really changed much. Even back then, kids were talking about making money, flipping cards, making money. You see all those videos of like interviews at card shows and stuff, and people were talking about like, I made this much money.
Yeah, there'd be kids, even myself, walking around with your Beckett guides at the time.
Yeah.
You came out for that month. You walk around with your baseball.
I remember,
football.
When I was a kid, I remember I collected, and I didn't really care. I mean, the values were kind of cool, but I wasn't like flipping cards. I was just collecting. That's what I remember as a kid. And now it's just way, way, way different now. Like you go to card shows and you see all these little kids that are just trying to like hustle and make a dollar. And it's kind of cute, but at the same time, it's kind of like, they act like little shits sometimes, So it doesn't make great habits, I think, especially if they're unsupervised. So I don't know. I think there needs to be an emphasis on kids, on a certain part of the hobby that should be for kids only. That entry level products should be for kids and just casual collectors. And that's the way it is. Those products should be mass produced where they have no value, no secondary market value, just collectible value. That's it. Mass produced stuff.
Now you did a thing not too long ago with Mama Breaks, the Burbank card show, and you gave cards to kids. Like, were they very appreciative about it, or what? Were they happy to have cards?
Yeah, they were great. I mean, they were really happy. Like, they were all excited. Do I think they appreciated getting free cards from me? Probably not. I think they were just there to get free stuff. But they were having fun. They were trading and they were doing their thing. And they were excited to have those cards. I do remember some parents being like trying to get free cards too, which I thought was just like disgusting, to be honest, like at a free cards event, but I do remember that. And we need more stuff like that. Right. But it's not enough, like the event that she had at the Burbank card show, that was like really well put together. But I've never seen anything like that at any other card show. I've never seen a kids trading event like the one that she had at the Burbank card show. It doesn't happen. All the kids just kind of mingle with the adults at trade nights or at card shows,
They do.
I was actually
imitate them.
Yeah, I was actually just telling the Union Marketplace guys about this. Like the next show that they have, they should have a section for kids only, where kids are vendors and kids go in there and trade with each other. And
you'll need some chaperones for sure.
But they shouldn't have kids interacting with adults on that level, because all sorts of problems happen. But we need more of that.
The case.
We need kids involved.
I talked to so many of my friends, and when my friends who are parents know that what we do, what I'm into cards, they always tell me that their kids like cards too, and of course they're more into the gaming cards like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and things like that, more than like say sports cards. So it seems like kids like more of like non-sports stuff.
Yeah, kids can like anything,
Yeah.
The hobby, everything, like the kids will love everything as long as they can get access to it. That's the biggest issue. Like you could give a kid anything and they'll have, they'll like it. You could give if the kid's favorite player is like Luca, right?
Yeah.
If you give him a logo man, he'll love it. But if you give him a Prism, he'll love it too. Or if you give him a Don Russ optic or something, he'll love it as long as they have access to it. But the problem is they can't really get access to these cards because of the price points.
Mm-hmm.
And the price points are the way they are because all the, adults in the hobby are trying to make money off of it. You know what I mean? So that's where I think that we need a focused divide on, hey, these products are for kids. These products are mass produced.
Yes.
There's no secondary value with them, whatever. Leave it for the kids. And then that will be the entry point to get them in. And eventually, if they love the hobby, they will level up quickly and they'll get to that next tier and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So those are my thoughts on that. Anything you want to add?
No. Just enjoy it as you can and have stuff that's always affordable at all times. I think if you want to keep that market stimulated,
right.
The hobby stimulated.
Right. Okay, so let's move on. If we got nothing else, let's move on.
What do we have next, Dan,
we'll
on the table?
We'll go. Did you have anything you want to show off before we get to the comments?
I don't have really much this week. It's been like kind of a busy week. Everybody's a little under the weather, but I got another photo. I was looking for this guy, but I don't really have much. It's a good type one here. And it is of Bruce Lee and his wife and Brandon in 1966.
Interesting.
I thought that was cute. Nice colored photo. And then I got a card. I don't know why I bought it, but I just bought it. It's of Walter Gunther, Next Fractor 2020.
The way that he used to look.
Yeah, I know he's lost all the weight, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of.
He's lean and mean now.
Yeah, he's had a good transformation.
Yeah, I know, right?
For sure.
I need to get on that transformation. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Don't we all? Okay, let's get to the comments here.
Anything for you? Did you pick up anything this week?
I picked up just little stuff, nothing I really want to show off. Just I've been picking up like little things for fun. I haven't really been making any big purchases or anything like that. So nothing really to show off. But
are you gonna wear anything for Halloween?
I don't really have I've got my Jedi costume, which I'll probably wear. I don't know, probably not. I don't really like to dress up for any.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
Oh, whatever. I don't believe that 1 minute.
Yeah. So, but we will be going
cosplay kind of guy.
We will be going to a Halloween party with Emily and her friends.
There you go. And will you wear your outfit?
Probably not. So,
what not?
We'll see.
Oh, come on. Y'all should all get together and wear something.
Yeah.
Even I have Maria has an outfit for Maverick. He's the Lion King.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna be Prince.
Okay, let me get a drink of water here.
Maria will have to be something like Regal too. So I'm Prince, but the musician,
right?
He'll be the Lion King, so she needs to be like something like of monarchy.
Okay, let's get to the comments here.
Let's do it, Dan.
All right.
Comment time. The sports card and Professor Seven Oris. Looking forward to your episode tonight. Thank you. Zup Chili, hello. Carlos, he's third this time, man. Rise and shine, Curator Army, ready for another great show. Mark the Collector, he's always second. Happy Tuesday, party people. Do you smell what the rock is cooking? I do, buddy. Tom A. Hawk, let's light this candle. Man, what an icon that is. The little thumbnail. Joseph Champagne, type 1 photo question, guys. If a card is approximately 4 times the value going from a PSA 9 to a PSA 10, what is the denomination of the X with a type 1 photo raw to PSA graded? So is he asking if you send a raw, like say, I send this raw photo in, and right now it's really not anything. I can just tell you it's a type 1. But if it comes back slabbed a type 1 by PSA, will that increase the value? It pretty much will. Will Dan, what do you?
I'd say at least 2x.
Yes.
At least 2x. It's honestly what type 1s, when you slab a type 1, it essentially becomes a 1 of 1. Unless there's another one that pops up, which is very rare to see, to be honest. but it essentially becomes a type 1, and you can literally name your price. There have been ones that
That's
have
so
gone
true.
for, 10x, 20x. There have been ones that have been like 20% premiums. It's just like, whatever, dude. You just name your price on it. It's your item. You can put whatever premium you want, and then you can get the feedback from it. If you get one slabbed up and you 4x price on it, and nobody is interested, okay, then you got to lower the price and you got to figure out what it is. But you got to treat it like a 1 of 1. And just like any 1 of 1, you name your own price, but you got to find somebody willing to pay that price. There is no market value on it.
Yeah, I would just, look around on the subjects in eBay and see what, if any photos of that subject, how much they have sold for, and what were the, the highest sales for that subject, and go from there. Mr. Snickers, Elite Wrestling on the up and up because of The Rock. Zup Chili, I want to see you guys break some Leaf Legends of Wrestling. What is this Leaf Legends of Wrestling, Dan?
I think I've heard of it, but
is this a brand new product?
I've never seen it. I think I've seen it before. I don't know if it's new because I think I've seen it before, but
I think I had a Cody one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I don't know if I would break it, but we'll see. I think I want to see what that Rock product comes out in. I would definitely try to chase that.
But the Leaf Legends of Wrestling, the ones where they're animated?
I don't know.
Papa Jim, woohoo! The podcast I'm not here to listen to. Hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you're still listening, Jim. Thanks, buddy. Renee, great news. He completed his top 2022 Heritage base set of 725 cards. I'm very happy about completing it. That's a very big set, 725 cards. Wow, congratulations, dude. Mark the Collector, need me a Dwayne Johnson auto. Don't we all? Dexflow Toys, I can't tell you what's worse, AEW attendance or the amount of viewers in here now. Hey now, oh boy, okay. Hey, I'm going to try to...
Dex is just mad because I didn't get the Bloodline booklet that he's trying to get.
Is that what's going on?
He's been trying to get me to take that off his hands for.
You still,
for
but you have one though.
I have one, yeah. So,
and he wants you to get the other one from him.
Yeah,
because he has 2, doesn't he?
I
the
think
Raptors, just one. Yeah. Would y'all ever do another Canadian show, perhaps a West Coast one? We've always talked about it.
I would love to go.
To Vancouver.
Despite our experience at the Toronto show, which is mainly just due to the circumstances around that.
Yes.
That weekend. I love going to Canada. I love visiting all those Canadian cities. I'm in love with that town, Banff, in the mountains. So I would definitely go. Yeah, I would definitely go to another show, West Coast. I would not go to Toronto again, to be honest. But I would definitely try to go, like, if they had one in Vancouver or Calgary, I guess I would definitely try to go to one of those.
Montreal.
We'll see. But what I learned is we definitely need the right type of inventory to go up there to make it worthwhile.
Right.
Unless we were doing something else, like we were going there to make content or something like that, which is something I think that I think we might have to switch that focus next year, where we mainly go to shows for the content aspect of it. Because sometimes, like with Canada, the market is so focused on hockey that there's not much for us to do there, All right, my camera went out again. Let me fix it. But as long as you guys can still hear me, we're good.
We can hear you, Dan. Let's keep talking. God is great. Hello from the rising sun, Japan. Thank you, buddy, for watching all the way on the other side of the world. Thank you.
I will be in Japan.
Big in Japan.
Yeah. So if you know any good hobby places for me to go check out, let me know. I'm looking for some Japanese people to connect with out there. I will be in Osaka and Tokyo for a few weeks. So hit me up on Instagram. Let me know.
I would eat sushi every day. Adrian CV Sports Cards. What's up, fellas? Carlos, I like on-card autos as opposed to sticker autos. I think that's most people's opinion about that.
I think the hobby needs a reset. I think they need to just get rid of sticker autos. We don't like sticker autos. The hobby has made that clear. We don't like sticker autos. We need to have a reset. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. I would be okay if they did on-card autos and they were super limited, because then it would be worthwhile versus just having a sticker auto, put in a box that nobody really cares about. You know what I mean? Which kind of reminds me of a rant that I wanted to go on. So let me segue real quick here. I saw, Fitterman Sports. You ever heard of that company?
Fitterman?
Yeah.
Fitterman.
Yeah. They have all the
they do the wrestling things.
They do all the wrestling autographs, but they do athlete autos and stuff like that. So anyways, they posted content on their page of like a John Cena signing that they did. And they said that they got like 1 hour of signatures, like over 10,000 signatures in 1 hour or something like that. Right? And they just show him signing so many things, like picture after picture, belt, hat, t-shirt, whatever, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, man, all that stuff is about to go on the market, flood the market. His signatures is probably going to, the value of his signature is probably going to go way down because that stuff is
so much of it.
There's so much of it out there.
And it's going to get dumped out everywhere.
Yes. And it just makes me think, okay, so he signs like an 8x10 photo. Okay. On photo auto. Okay?
All right.
You compare that to one of his cards,
okay,
where it's like a sticker auto. And the card with the sticker auto is probably worth more than the photo where he actually touched it, and signed it on top of the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you compare it to like an on-card auto, it's significantly higher, but it's the same thing essentially. So it's just kind of crazy how we value the cards and the signatures more than the signature of a piece of memorabilia.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's why we need to have like a hobby reset, because these gimmicks of having signatures on stickers or relic cards with like a cut up piece of a shirt with a square inch of a piece of fabric or something like that, that's not even from a used event or significant event. I just feel like these gimmicks are so played out right now that we need to stop. We need to stop and just go back to what the hobby has shown that they love, which is well-designed cards, on-card autos, limited numbers, things like that. We don't need all these different gimmicks to make these cards seem like they're super valuable where they're really, not actually that valuable. Whereas things that are like a signed championship belt, a signed 8x10 photo or something like that, which is way cooler, presents better, it's not as valuable as these things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird. Anyways, moving on.
Mark the Collector, Leaf making chess moves. Carlos, Dan's Golden Nuggets. He loves saying that. Dan's Golden Nuggets. Random J Adventures. Imagine a kid asking for an auto directly, and the answer is, sorry, kid, I can't. That is the wrong company.
I hate that too. I hate the fact that these athletes will not sign certain items because they're contracted not to. You know what I mean? I just think that's really stupid. Especially like the Fitterman autograph.
Yeah, won't allow autographs on cards now. I'm
gonna pick on that company a little bit because they don't allow certain cards to be autographed.
That's true.
For whatever reason. And I just think it's stupid. Like I think the whole exclusive license thing, they should just let people make cards of the athletes. As long as the athletes can make money or whatever, let them make the cards, let them compete with each other. Forget this whole exclusive thing, because I think it just kind of limits the hobby more than, limits the hobby too much. You know what I mean?
So like Fetterman may not allow a wrestler to sign on those 82 All-Star cards or something.
Yeah, why not? That's stupid. Just let them do it.
Mr. Snickers, Leaf will get the Dwayne Johnson autos, and Tops will get the Rock autos.
That'd be cool.
Let's see if that happens. Adrian CV Sports Cards. What's the grade on the Rock auto you just showed earlier? It was 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7. And I actually just got another 7 too, so it's coming.
Yeah,
in.
none of those grade well. Have yet to see a 10 one. Have you?
No, never.
Carlos, yes, kids are the new generation for the hobby. They have to carry it on. If not, we are doomed. That's so true. But one day those kids will have money too to spend lots of money on those cards that they reminisced about.
Here's the thing that I don't think people realize, okay? When you're a kid, right, you're into something, and then you grow up and your priorities change. When you become a teenager, your priorities change. You play sports, you chase girls, you go to college.
Right.
In college, you make friends, you go drinking, you chase girls.
Right.
You graduate
You're busy
college.
with cards, yes.
You graduate college, you get a job, and you go out and you try to meet girls or whatever, right?
Right. You're still socializing.
You don't go back to the hobby until you've settled down in life and you have disposable income to do these things.
Correct.
You come back in your 30s or late 20s, 30s, 40s.
Because you're saving all that money for drinks and dates.
Yes. So when you're older like me, right? Like I'm 40.
You're a baby.
If I didn't have that connection as a kid, if I didn't have that nostalgic memory of collecting cards, I wouldn't be collecting cards, as a kid right now. My camera went out again here, but you can still hear me. I wouldn't be collecting. I wouldn't be collecting now if I didn't have those memories built. So that's why it's very important to introduce kids to the hobby while they're young. Let them have fun. They play around for a year, and then just like every other kid, they move on to the next, thing that catches their attention. But they'll come back. They always do. People always come back to the things that they're nostalgic for. That's
even
why
with the Junk Wex cards, people still want them, but I mean, they usually want a PSA 9 or 10 out of them.
That's why, like, they're still making GI Joes, Transformers, Ninja Turtle toys because we're nostalgic for those things as kids, and they still sell today, right?
Right.
And that's why if you look at these toy companies,
garbage pail kids.
If you look at these toy companies, not only do they make the nostalgic stuff for adults, but they make versions for kids too. Like I was telling you, the Fisher Price stuff, so that kids can be introduced to these things, and then they'll come back at a certain point when they're, adults or they have a little bit more money to spend. Okay, I'm just gonna forget my camera. It's done. It's toast, guys.
What happened to the camera?
I don't know. I can't get the power to go on.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Renee, to be honest, I think the gambling aspect of the hobby should be out and let the kids and adults enjoy it. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think breaking is going to be going away anytime soon, is it, Dan?
No, but I agree. I think the gambling part of the hobby should not. It can be a subsection of the hobby, but it should not be the main thing, the front-facing focus of the hobby the way it is right now.
Right.
I think that's a huge mistake because people are going to take it too far. People are going to get burned out. You're going to have some real problems, and it's going to be like more of a black eye for the hobby than anything else. So if Fanatics was like, watching me and they're asking me for my opinion, I would say definitely they need to pivot off of this whole 24/7 gambling breaking aspect of the hobby and go more towards that kid friendly event that they were doing. It just makes more sense.
Have you tried using your in-camera computer? There you go.
I could.
Okay, so making sure you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, we're back for a little bit here.
Comic book Curator 68. Cards, toys, and comics is all about adults now. They have no focus for the next generation that is coming alone afterwards.
That's true. That is true. I agree with that too.
You know, one thing we don't do, that was big when back in the early 90s that I used to go to almost like, I think they had it like once a month on a Monday night, that there was like a sports card club, and we would meet, I don't know, at the Legion Hall or something like that. And there'd probably be like 150 of us, and we would do like an auction one night, and everybody brings stuff, and you can, auction it off if you want to.
Oh,
You
interesting.
bid on it right there. So
I always thought it'd be interesting to have a live auction at a card show.
yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because like if you're into the classic car scene at all, they have, when they do their auctions, they have
Yeah.
live auctions. Like you can bid
Mhm.
online too, but you can bid in person at these events.
Mhm.
And I think that'd be pretty exciting if they did something like that.
Hmm.
Okay, next comment.
All right. Jay, the hobby was never meant for kids. Vintage started with tobacco cards. Most of us get into cards as kids as an introduction. Then we get away from it and come back once we're old enough to afford it.
Yeah, exactly what we were saying.
Jay, again, there is a point in time when kids become teenagers, life takes over. Then at some point, some come back when they are old enough
Yes.
probably to afford it, like Dan
Exactly.
said.
Is this Jay? Is this Premier
Is
card
it?
show Jay? I think it is. I always like talking to Jay. He always has like wise words in the hobby because he's been around for so long. He's one of those hobby OGs.
Diddy cards. Some of these kids have bigger cards than adults. So true. These kids are boss babies who are crushing it. They are.
How do they do that though? Like, who bankrolled them into the hobby where they're allowed to do that? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't remember having boss babies back in the 90s. Do you?
No. I distinctly remember going to card shows as a kid.
Yeah.
And
you were a boss baby then.
I wasn't. I was like,
when you were 10.
I was dominated. I'm just gonna switch to my other camera. Give me a second.
Yeah, just do it because it hates you tonight.
Okay.
There he is. Okay, there you go.
I distinctly remember being dominated by old men and their stubborn will towards my cards. Like I give them $100 worth of cards according to the Beckett guide, and they're like, "I'll give you $20 for it." I gotta sell it. I got overhead. I pay for my table, this and that. And I was like, I didn't know any better back then. So I did whatever I had to do as a kid, but I remember it sucked. It sucked dealing with adults back then because they would totally just take advantage of you. It's a little bit different now that we can look up comps and things like that, but I feel like kids should be dealing with kids or kid-friendly adults versus dealing with sharks and all the typical people that you see at card shows. Anyways,
so true, Dan. Anthony Pittsburgh, what's up, buddy? What's up, gentlemen? Carlos, Dan got a mini display museum. Yes, he does. It's fun to
still working on it, guys. Still working
on it. Tomahawk, the hobby has a wants and needs problem. The hobby wants to grow tenfold. The hobby needs kids tenfold. So true. Tomahawk again. We have to remember that this hobby started as a bonus to buying smokes and bubble gum.
Okay, so
the adults bought the smokes and the kids.
I think this is an interesting argument that people are referencing the tobacco cards as the entry point in the hobby, so that it's really made for adults. But I would push back on that and say that if that was still the intention, then these cigarette companies would still be making tobacco cards. Which, to be honest, if they did make tobacco cards, I think that would be a really hot thing, and I would not be surprised if they're
not allowed to anymore because of that.
If one of these companies did it at some point and cashed in on the hobby craze, but the hobby is still should be, there should be a dedicated section carved out for kids. I really strongly believe that. And I don't think that's going to be able to happen until the adults stop trying to squeeze profit out of entry-level products.
Yeah, if they put cards back into like candies and things like that for kids.
Well, I mean, I was going to say something, but go ahead.
But still, that kind of like this day and age, you can't really,
Yeah. Okay. Next
kids buying candy and crap. TV sports cards. Merlin, are you going to wear that Grimace suit? Yes, that's my Prince suit, Adrian. Mark the Collector. Rock is going to appear first in Leaf Legends of Wrestling. And it's going to be the animated one? T-Raptors. There's a biggish Vancouver show coming up in November, Dan.
Oh, well, this November probably not going to work because I will be traveling to Japan and Thailand during that time. But, maybe next year. We'll see. I'm already starting to make the schedule for next year, so we'll see.
Mark the Collector. Imagine Rock Superfractor autos and Transcendent autos. Yes, everybody would want one, wouldn't they? They'd be out there at all the shows. Aka Collects. Let's go. What's up, buddy? Papa Jim, what does Fitterman's not allow the wrestlers not to sign? I've been to a show and saw cards, toys, Funkos all getting signed, but send-ins, I've never seen anything listed as not allowed. It's cards now.
Rookie cards.
Like rookie cards or something that's more affordable.
And
like,
anything that's like high-end. Like I heard that they don't even allow Mike Tyson to sign his PMG cards anymore.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's going on.
Japan, damn, that sounds nice, Dan.
Okay, so I think we got to pretty much all the comments here.
Yeah.
So we can wrap the show up a little bit early tonight. That will be
good. Oh my goodness, we're actually going on time this time.
Yeah, I still have my cough, so this would be good for me to kind of relax.
Oh, you have a cough? Okay.
Yeah. Any last things you want to add in here? So.
Yeah, check me out, everybody, on Merleworld cards on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I just posted a bunch of videos about Type 1 photos, so check it out. I'll be posting more. I'll be talking about I was talking about how to find raw ones, and next will be Type 1 and 2, and then one after that will be 3 and 4. Then I'll make a video about even rejected ones that come back. So that's a bummer.
Rejected photos?
Yeah, so you know what they tell you when they get rejected, because people think, oh, they'll just authenticate any of them. Well, guess what? They don't. And all the ones I got rejected have a different reason. So I find that very interesting, and I would like to show the viewers.
They actually reject it, or they say they can't authenticate it?
Well, some are rejected and some are authenticated. But I'll show you there'll be different ones. They'll have different reasons. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So right now, I'm just saying they're all rejected. If they can't authenticate it, it's been rejected because they can't give you a letter or encapsulate it, which bums you out. And then Dan is showing you again Mr. Minty's prepping supply kits. Check those out. The link, you can see it on the ticker tape below us, but also it's in the link in the description below. Use promo code Curator to get maybe 20 or 25% off. Hopefully, Mr. Minty is lazy and it's still 25% off. But check him out on Instagram, on his website. You can also learn what's in the kit and how to use those products.
Yeah. All right. So that will wrap it up for tonight, guys.
Yes. Also remember, we're going to be on next Wednesday because next Tuesday's Halloween. So y'all might be out trick-or-treating. So stay safe. Make sure your kids stay safe. Kit, Dan now.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight, and have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yo, listen.